My name is Qadreya and I am the founder and CEO of Bumblebee.
What is the story behind the brand? What inspired you to start it?
I was babysitting my friend's son and I was feeding him and noticed that the jar, which was from the supermarket, it lacked flavor and it lacked color. And when I turned it back, the production date was made before the baby was even born. And I started to notice that this was a problem occurring to many of my friends who were mothers, and that's when I started to notice a gap in the market for healthy baby food, and that's when I decided to fill that gap.
What were some of the challenges that you faced?
I think the biggest challenge was that I did not have any experience in the F&B. I don't have children either, so baby food was a completely new territory for me. So entering that was challenging, but baby food, especially in the country, is rightly so very strict. There are many permits required to get it. So it was a long and challenging process to get all the permits, but
You started the business with an investment of $150,000. How did you raise funds to start the business?
So the business is self-funded. I actually started my first investment when I was 16. I invested in the stock market with the help of my dad, and I've made sizable profits since then, and have decided to invest in myself.
What is in the works for Bumblebee? Can you talk a little about the growth and the future of your business?
I think we've been having really good growth, and we expect to start targeting supermarkets in the medium term. In the long term, we hope to expand to neighboring GCC markets, as we've had some interest from a few countries, but that's for the long term.
It's a very competitive industry where most of the major food brands have built in a monopoly. How do you market yourself to reach your audience and set yourself apart from the rest of the businesses?
I think that what makes my product different as opposed to the supermarket brands is, mine is fresh, freshly made. It doesn't have any additives or preservatives, no salt or sugar. So this is one of our, unique aspects. And the one thing I decided to do was specifically target working moms because, they're always on the go. They're always, they don't want the chore of thinking about feeding their child. So this is why we did it frozen food. And I think this is something that differentiates us from everybody else, as there isn't a single frozen baby food business in the entire of GCC.
Your brand aims to create nutritious and tasty meals for babies. Can you explain the process through which you curate your recipes, and how do you source your ingredients?
We source all ingredients locally from local farmers to ensure that there are no pesticides, no hormones or anything in the food. We also have our own farm that we use, but it's small and doesn't have the big capacity to cater to big orders. So whatever we need in excess, we get from the other local farms. And for the food, to get the most nutrition out of every meal, we work with a pediatric nutritionist called Yasmin Al-Haddad from my Pedia Clinic. And she recommends the best ingredients that has the most nutritional value. If, for example, we give her a meal that doesn't have the protein intake that a child needs, she would recommend a substitute to ensure that the daily nutritional value is met for the child.
How is Bumblebee aligning the business with the national strategy for well-being and nutrition?
So one of the key pillars of the strategy is to have healthy children, so just to have healthy population, especially healthy children. And as you know, recently in the pandemic, there's been a rise in obesity to everyone, not just to children, but children especially because they didn't go to schools, they didn't, they were sitting in the iPad, they moved a little, and everything was so easy and just convenient and button. You could order anything you want. So it was, all of that contributed to, higher rates of obesity, and we aim to reduce that, but not through any diets or exercise or any way to make the child feel self-conscious, but it's just purely by providing healthy meals that doesn't have any salt. And we hope that through that, we can build a healthier community and have those children build a healthy and sustainable relationship with food, so that when they grow up, by the time 2030 comes along, they would be already grown up and healthy for that strategy.
Who inspires you? It's not easy starting a business in this competitive industry. As a self-made businesswoman, who would you consider to be your mentor?
Big members of my family, to be honest. My dad has been really great and supportive of my business. My mom is always, encouraging me. And, my mom was a stay-at-home mom who took care of all of us. Me and my siblings always used to cook us the best food in the world. My cousins, my friends, my aunties, they're all really, really supportive, and each one of them inspires me.
And what advice would you give up-and-coming entrepreneurs looking to start their own business?
I think the first advice I would give is study your market. It's always good to do your own research, even with the publicly available information. It's better that you gather the information, you ask, and then you take that knowledge and build a product, and then test it out, before you start to launch it. Because so many places, so many like businesses, for example, they start really big, and before 2 years, they just go bankrupt, right? And same thing with like places that expand too quickly, spread themselves too thin. So, in my opinion, what have worked for me would be just a careful study of the market and slow and organic growth.
Thank you so much.